Hello there! Today I continue my penetrative journey in Fallout 76. So we're gonna see how melee weapons can ignore armor, also known as damage resistance of our enemies. Two things before we start. Number one, please watch the previous video cause I explained how it works for ranged weapons. Number two, help me, please help me to reach 3k subs milestone. Because I said so. Okies, let's get started. As before, the numbers you see represent damage penetration. 65% means anti-armor plus penetrative mod. Incisor is a must-have per card that ignores your target's armor up to 75%. And personally, I see no point to even try rank 2 or rank 1 of this powerful perk, cause 75% is hella OP. Once again, awareness will help me to check how damage resistance changes upon equipping, re-equipping my armor penetrative buffs. And finally, weighted mod gives more melee armor penetration, plus 10 per arm, so keep it in mind. Today, Puppy Hawk shows real damage resistance numbers, though I had to spill some blood to make him. By the way, someone subbed while I was doing this video, so thank you, amigo. Yokis, let's get started. So, once again we have a huge pile of numbers you probably slightly hate, but whenever I'm done talking you can actually pause the video and check them for yourself. Well, this time we have 4 buffs that do something with armor penetration. Incisor is multiplicative, puncturing is additive, anti-armor is additive, and we have 2 versions of weighted. These dudes once again are additive, but they work differently, and I want to start with them. The column from 0 to 160%, 160%, is some of buffs like in the previous video. Obviously I'm gonna convert everything in real armor penetration numbers, but first let me explain how all these combos work. So, speaking of weighted, turns out it has nothing to do with 10% or 20% numbers. In fact, it lowers damage resistance by 5 points or by 10 points. Depends on how you modded your armor. If you check these numbers, you can see that 260 became 255 or 250. And once again here, 221 became 216 or 211. Well, 91 became 86 or 81, and so on. Let's move on to anti-armor and puncturing mod. It would be the same as you could see in my previous video with anti-armor and any penetrative mag. But today we can have only 65% armor penetration in total. But obviously we have Incisor, which is a must-have because 75% armor penetration is huge. If you look here, you can understand how OP it is on its own. Okay, conclusion. Incisor is multiplied by any combo of anti-armor and puncturing mod and minus 5 or 10 damage resistance. That's what we have. Ladies and gents, it's time to reveal the real armor penetration numbers, and if you want, please check everything for yourself. Probably you are confused, I would be confused myself. Obviously anti-armor, incisor and puncturing mod, while weighted mod is present, should make all your opponents die like they've never been born. But there is one particular detail you should be aware of. Well, when we use rifles, tank killer is nice, but anti-armor plays the major role in dealing damage. In case of melee weapons, actually Incisor is more important, because enemies' damage resistance affects your damage outcome. So should we go with anti-armor or blooded, maybe? Let's see. If our base damage is 50, there is not so much difference between bloody and anti-armor. The bloody buff adds 21 damage, so we have 71 in total, but his damage resistance in this case is 45. In custom world, we can apply a damage multiplier, which will affect the whole number, not just base damage. So actually we cannot compare anything here, because bloody buff is plus 95% maximum to base damage only. But since we know final damage resistance, which is ballistic, or if I'm wrong, it must be the same number at least for Puppy Hawk. Plus we can check damage we deal. Well, there is some data to work with. Well, in this case we deal almost description damage with anti-armor, or 150, because his resistance is the same and damage reduction is way lower. For Bloody the description damage is 213. Once again, I'm not saying that Bloody effect is that epic, but since we know his damage resistance, we can see that the actual damage reduction is around 11%. Higher we go, less damage reduction is, but I assume Bloody will always beat anti-armor with melee webs. Anyhow, let's check both ends of this issue. If you remember, weighted mode for your arms drops damage resistance by 10, so we can have negative numbers. Obviously, it would be cool to superpass description damage, but we just cannot do it. In this case, we're gonna deal description damage. Let me show you. Who's gonna be my first victim? Actually, let's see what I can do without weighted. So let's unequip it. Okay. And boom, 50 damage. Interesting. As you can see, I already dealt the maximum damage possible. Okay, let's try weighted. Minus 10 damage resistance. Yeps. Okay, let's try you. Hey. Oh, 50 damage. Almost Mike Tyson. And the same for you. Hey, what you doing? So basically, you can see how it works. And 100 for your head. Have a beautiful knockout. Yay. This one is anti-armor. Well, if you try Bloody, let's see. 71 damage. So you don't need anti-armor melee weapon. Some enemies have damage reduction on their own. Turrets, for example, might have 0 damage resistance, but they gotta take half of the damage you deal. Yeah, and for Blooded the same. Of course, bosses have even bigger damage reduction buffs. Senorita Earl Williams received 10% of the damage you are supposed to deal. But anyways, Bloody is better. Let me show you. 64 damage resistance he has. And let's try. And Senorita takes 5 damage. Oh, great, and he has 4. I'm done for today. I hope my video was quite informative. If so, please help me with a like, subscription, comment maybe in the comment section. Okay, I will see you later. Big thank you for watching. Bye bye.